In the 1980s, cotton contributed up to 25% to the country's gross domestic products, with more than 180 operational textile companies. Funtua became a commercial hub. The town stands as one of the major convergence centers for cotton merchants and traders in the north.
Mutanen da suke zuwa daga Maiduguri, Kano, sai su nemi wannan dutse, shine ake cewa muhalin Funtua huntun dutse, ta magadi mai haƙin kurdi.
In the 1960s, 74-year-old Aisha Garba learned the art of cotton spinning in Funtua.
Didatin da aka kawo ne na koyi kaɗin. Tun ana saiwa sisi da kwabai uku kenan ko.
By the 1970s, textile industry was one of the highest employers of labor. However, in subsequent decades, poor electricity, lack of equipment maintenance led to the crash of over 150 textile companies across the country.
And then everything broke down. But to me, the watershed was the arrival of oil boom.
Right now, as we're talking with you, we've not made 1 naira profit for the first 20 years.
Historically, agriculture was the mainstay for the people of northern Nigeria. Across the northwest, towering granite pyramids dotted the landscape. The pyramids were symbolic of the essential role of agriculture in the region. Farming was such an important part of life that it influenced the culture and lifestyle of the people. In June and July, farmers begin tilling the soil for a special crop, cotton. By November up to January, expectations are high for a bountiful harvest. In the old days, peasant farmers produced the cotton crop in Katsina, Sokoto, and Zaria. As early as the 14th century, Muslim traders established a sophisticated network for the cotton market. Kano, Bida, and Ilorin were trading hubs. Production was so organized that by 1905, Nigeria began exporting cotton to the United Kingdom. In the 1980s, cotton contributed up to 25% to the country's gross domestic products, with more than 180 operational textile companies. This positioned Nigeria as one of the top cotton producers in the African continent.
And you know, one of the main advantage, I think, of cotton, even when the British industrialization started, they realized that it's a material that can be worn in hot and cold weather. And so cotton became important. You know, the industrialization in Britain started with wool because of their weather. It is outside they found cotton. And then they move over from wool to cotton concentrated to produce textile materials. So before the colonial rule, the British didn't come here and find us going naked. They found us wearing clothes, wearing dresses, and living in urban areas, which were very critical for expansion of civilization. Had regional government that set up marketing boards. And the purpose of the marketing boards was to encourage the production of the raw materials. But you also know that one of the things that the northern region government did was to establish textile industries in Kaduna. In collaboration with foreigners, whatever it is, they had quite a number of textile factories in Kaduna. So with independence, we started transforming ourselves from exporters of raw materials, cotton raw materials, into manufacturers.
So when it comes to cotton and textiles, the linkage between cotton production that we inherited from colonial days continued to grow and held a lot of promise for the future. And that fed the cotton industry that was producing competitively and creating surplus, was beginning to feed into the textile value chain, upper value chain, points of the value chain, ginning, textiles, and exports in particular. So these things were growing. Agriculture was booming. Every household that I knew in 1960s was bending over and producing. We started going to the farm as early as when we were toddlers. We followed our grandparents and parents and senior uncles to the farm, and aunties. Everybody in the household was a producer. So surpluses were produced.
At the peak of cotton production, Funtua became a commercial hub for cotton trading in Katsina State, northwest Nigeria. The Great Funtua Mountain is a significant landmark. The town stands as one of the major convergence centers for cotton merchants and traders in the north.
Mutanen da suke zuwa daga Maiduguri, Kano, wajen Hadeja, kai har daga Sokoto suna bullowa nan su zo nan Funtua su huta. Nan suke yada zango, ma'ana hutawa kenan, daga nan ta zama Funtua. Lokacin Funtua ba kowa sai daji. In suka zo maimakon su yi makuwa sai su gane, sai su nemi wannan dutse, shi ne ake cewa muhalin Funtua huntun dutse, ta magadi mai haƙin kurɗi. Duk 'yan kasuwar da za su je yamma wajen ƙasa Yarbawa sayan goro, nan ne wurin hutawarsu. Ƙasashen waje in suka zo sun fi sayan audugar da aka yi jinin ɗinta a nan Funtua.
Before industrialization, women in northern Nigeria were known for cotton spinning, a critical process in production of textiles and garment materials. In the 1960s, 74-year-old Aisha Garba learned the art of cotton spinning in Funtua. Since then, she holds the job firmly.
Duk da aka kawo ni na koyi kaɗin. Tun ana saiwa, wani tsoho yana kai mana shi kasuwa, ana saiwa sisi da kwabbai 3 kenan ko? Yawwa, a lokacin muna bashi yana sayan mun da shi. To, har dai da yake mai gidana yana amfani da shi, ina sayan mai, sai ya sayo min audugar sai in kaɗa. To shi yake saye. Ko yanzu in na kaɗa yaro na ya saya, ina jin daɗin amfani da yanda ya saya ɗin. Tunda yana kamun rufin asiri. Tunda wani zubin in ban da kuɗi zan ce ya turo min da kuɗi kamar 2,000, 3,000 zan sai auduga, sai ya turo min da shi. To in ya turo min da shi, ina kwasarewa in na kaɗa. Sai ki ga ya ce wancan da ya saya ya ƙare.
The golden age of northern Nigeria's textile industry, Sardauna Sir Ahmadu Bello envisioned the region benefiting from an agrarian economy. By 1957, the Kaduna Textiles Limited began operations. Arewa Textiles, Nortex, United Nigeria Textiles, among others, soon followed suit. By the 1970s, against the backdrop of Nigeria's oil industry boom, textile industry was one of the highest employers of labor. However, in subsequent decades, poor electricity, lack of equipment maintenance, and leadership failures led to the crash of over 150 textile companies across the country. During this period, Nigeria's journey through economic turbulence rendered more than 1 million employees jobless.
As at 1995, we could earn up to 25,000. Between 20 to 25,000, depending on depending on the work you do, because we do have what we call overtime. So if you're able to do overtime, you can reach up to that 25. But it was between 20 to 25. The motivation, sometimes the company will just, because of the profit, because of their profit, they will just decide to say, okay, we're giving the workers a bonuses of so-so amount, so-so amount.
When the company closed down, definitely it's not easy because the management try to be giving us salary advance. But you know there's no production. If there's no production, how can the management get money? There's no money. So it was the MD who used to go and fetch money. He either go and borrow from ANDC, and some of our area here, since it's vacant, no machines, we rent them out. It is through there. They used to have small amount to add and pay us small amount as salary advance since 2002 to date.
Fast forward to later years, beyond 1980s and so on. Something happened, and then everything broke down. But to me, the watershed was the arrival of oil boom in 1972, starting from 1972. You know, Nigeria began to have access of free money from oil, and then everything began to go south, down, and to date, that's the problem. So what happened is the way we manage that wealth, that oil wealth, that has affected that fortune of our self-reliant growth, of productivity and competitiveness from real sector. And then everything switched over against real sector activity, production, manufacturing, you know, and whatever is in the real sector, in favor of non-real sector. In fact, creating rent and speculative opportunities that people could make money doing less than those that were doing more. But it was not intentional. A lot of, in my own understanding, policy errors, which up to date persist.
We are on our way to one of the few operational cotton processing plants, the Funtua Textiles Limited, located in Funtua local government area of Katsina State. The Funtua Textiles Limited has gone through tough times, but we seek to find out the secret behind its resilience amidst these harsh economic conditions in Nigeria. The company has ginning, spinning, weaving, and finishing facilities. It has been processing cotton materials for various needs, attracting sales within and outside Nigeria, while providing job opportunities for hundreds of people. Funtua Textiles Limited is one of less than 30 textile companies across Nigeria. The last standing textile factory in Katsina is struggling to remain in business amidst economic challenges.
It was established in 1978. The commissioning was done in 1979, and all along we've been running. We had strong leadership, people who have the zeal to produce, people who know how to take care of their workers. I will give you an example. Right now, as we're talking with you, we've not made 1 naira profit for the past 20 years. But you know what our chairman told us and the board? No. Continue to work as long as you are breaking even. And they don't want to hear anything about redundancy or reducing manpower. Initially, we had up to about 3,400 workers. But now what we did was, okay, since we're not going to reduce the workers, we allow the place to run itself. If you decide to leave the job, we're not going to employ another guy. If you are retired, we make sure that the next person working with you takes over your work.
Over the years, Nigeria's cotton farming has been fragile due to many factors, including farmers struggling to create value for their labor. This challenge constituted the many troubles that led to a significant decline in Nigeria's cotton production and the ripple effect across the entire textile industry.
Ni kaina na noma auduga. A da can da daɗewa. Na kawo fuloti. In kawo fuloti a auna a saida in koma gida da 'yan kuɗina. Amma a wannan lokacin a gaskiya wulaƙanci ake ma akan. Tunda sai na kawo auduga sosai mai kyau na gyara ta sosai tun gida jama'a sun tafi gyara min ita. In kawo fuloti sai a ce man in ɗaure in ce hakikuwa in zubar. Duk kuma duk auduga ce galibi zan cire in zubar. Ba da bayan haka kuma ina sa ran aban lambu 1 sai aban lambu 3 lambu 2. An rage darajar kuɗinta an rage. To tun daga nan sai na saurara da daina nomanta.
They impose taxation, they impose stiff conditions to make sure that the local textile industries are not flourishing. And the purpose is also to ensure that they buy the raw cotton. You know what they did? They even established British BCGA, British Cotton Growing Association. They were in Funtua, they had quite a number of places promoting the cultivation of cotton. And this is not for our local production, it's for export to British textile industries. The Lancaster cotton textiles really depended on our own cotton.
Cotton processing is a capital-intensive venture that requires hundreds of industrial machines and equipment, from ginnery, spinning, and weaving. These employees work painstakingly to produce textile materials. Finished goods from this company are distributed by wholesalers. This material is known as Dan Funtua, a brand from the Funtua Textile company.
Misali a nan garin kamar yadda muke da wannan masaka a nan, so ya kasance a ce muna da manyan diloli wanda kawai in ka tashi zaka je kamar kaso Funtua ko kuma a wani wuri a Funtua wanda a ce akwai dila kawai zaka so. So amma zaka ga yawanci duk gashi abubuwa wanda ake sakawa a nan Funtua ba za ka same su a nan. Daidai da akwai yadi dan Funtua, farin yadi wanda da shi ake abubuwa da shi har kafani. So yawanci manyan masaku irin wanda suke a Kaduna da Kano su ake dai a ɗauka a kai can, su can za su yi printing su buga shi ya zama atamfa ko ya zama wani babban yadi. So amma mu a nan babu, a nan garin na Funtua. So zan so a ce gaskiya mun samu wannan ci gaban wanda su masakar za su kawo injina manya na ci gaba wanda za su iya yin waɗannan, kuma mu samu manyan 'yan kasuwa wanda za su iya zuwa su haɗin gwiwa da su wannan kamfani su kawo mutanen garin Funtua da sauran na wurare su rika siya a nan Funtua ba sai sun je Kano.
The Funtua Textiles Limited struggles to remain in business. The same economic challenges which consumed dozens of cotton companies in Nigeria are now threatening the existence of this textile company.
As you know, our generators are about 40 years old. All of a sudden, there was triple increase in power. And they are demanding that we pay upfront. And that month, the bill they sent to us was around 109 million naira. Well, considering how the textiles are running, how do you make 199 million naira to pay for the power? Unless you're going to stop doing everything and put the money all together and give it to them. At most, you make maybe 300 million if you take out wages and other daily consumables, you will not have up to 109 million naira. So we had to close the factory for almost three weeks. Then we started changing things. We changed all our lights to LDE, lighting system, and the whole of admin, we changed it to solar. By doing that, we were able to reduce the light consumption to about 60%. But then, even the 60% is too much. We talked to MAN, we talked to Textile Manufacturers Association. Nobody could help. They said it's all beyond them.
In the past 3 decades, successive governments made several efforts to resuscitate moribund textile companies. The federal government floated series of funding schemes totaling over $1.18 billion in the last 30 years to salvage the local textile industry. Unfortunately, these efforts were fruitless. Economists and industry experts explain the key issues.
Not just in textile industry, but textile industry is part of all the gamut issues that is constraining industrial growth. Okay? I mean, they are part of the same ship, the same boat, the same vehicle that we are journeying towards development. So, and they cannot be faster than the vehicle they are in. All right? So look at the vehicle. What is wrong with it? I'm not telling you it is this hyperinflation. And this hyperinflation is coming from the macroeconomic budgetary process, which affects everybody. So what the governors can do, or any governor can do, if he wants to save production, including agriculture, including every industry, not only textile, take about tanneries and leather industry. You know, when I was engaging with them in mid-90s, in Kano alone, we had over 200 tanneries. Today they are less than 5. You know, so every industry is dying, every production is dying, and unfortunately for us in the north, 70 or so % of our population are only alive when production is alive. So if production is not alive, 70% of northerners must be poor. All right? So what they need to do, the northern governors or any governor, in fact, any governor in Nigeria needs to do, if the federal government does not do it, is to go to the federal government and raise an agenda of national economic reform. Because this issue, no state, no region can create its own inflation rate. When we began to receive those proceeds from petrodollars, when you sell crude, you obtain dollar revenues or dollar cash flow. Because to me, it's not revenue, because it's not earned. It's not earned from any productive work. So it's a cash flow. So what do you do with the dollars? We budget it and spend. That's what we say. We put it in the budget and then we spend. Our governments will put in the budget. We go to FAC and collect FAC every month and spend. But we don't spend dollars here, do we? We spend naira. So how do we turn the dollar into naira? What Nigeria has been doing is that she will keep the dollars in the reserve account and then simply print naira and give to government in the federation account to be shared in FAC, monthly FAC distribution. And then we spend that money. Now, you print naira. When you spend that money, when government spends that money, it's only increasing money supply in the economy. But without 1 grain of maize or 1 ounce of cotton produced. So there will be more money than goods. It will induce inflation. Inflation will make the production at home here more expensive than what is produced globally.
Cotton problems were inherent and were very conspicuous. We have been talking about it, we have been complaining, we have followed a lot of processes to see that the cotton farming is brought back to glory, like glorious time period, when cotton was one of the major even source of government's income or foreign exchange, you know. But there are so many factors associated with it, which started from, abolition of cotton boards. You remember, during Babangida era, not only cotton board, but all marketing boards in general. So when that was abolished, farmers were left without any legislation. Everybody went on his own way. So adulteration started coming, our cotton started being rejected internationally, and then even the seedling was affected seriously because of the adulteration. Then likewise, the market was also discouraged, and then because of the closure of textiles, there was no much market, and the international market was not encouraging. So farmers started particularly opting for other crops like soybeans, like maize, and other cash crop.
Well, the way forward now, you need political leaders with a vision and a mission. What do you want to become? It's not just you want to become president of Nigeria. What do you want to do to Nigeria and Nigerians when you become president? The economy is down. We have, since the 70s, we have just been relying on oil. So virtually no production. And unless you develop capacity, nobody will come and invest in your economy. All these things people talk about, foreign investment, it's just investment in oil. Because you will still get people to invest in oil because it's profitable, even if there is insecurity. Even if there is insecurity, when there is insecurity, the price will go up and they will not lose. But you don't find people coming to set up industries. No, they are not doing it. So part of the problem is our own policies do not favor the establishment of industries.
For now, the management of the Funtua Textile Company looks to government for economic reforms to create a conducive atmosphere for industries to thrive.
To start with, they should stabilize power supply. You can imagine how we had 5 grid collapse within 1 week. Tell me how you're going to buy a computerized machine and put it in the spinning department with this kind of issue, or in the weaving department. The moment you stop power, it's dead. You have to start afresh. So the most the government can do is to make sure that there is power and affordable. I think if they can do that and reduce half the smuggling, I think we'll be okay.
The survival of the Funtua Textile Company is crucial for sustainable growth and development of the local economy here. But the story of cotton in this small town is not just about the economy. It is also about cultural heritage and preserving values of the people of Funtua. Beyond Funtua, the diversification of economic activities away from oil signals hope for many Nigerians.